Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? How you been, man?
Well, the question, I've been okay, but I think the question should be, how have you been? You're the one who has been out of the loop trying to play superhero and everything like that. I mean, we want the deets, bro. So you're gonna have to run this thing down to us. But I will say this. I will say this. Out my way, I may lose power because it's about to storm. So if we lose power, ladies and gentlemen, it's not my fault. I did pay my electricity bill. It's just that there's a huge storm that's coming on board. So, but with that said, run the deets, bro. We want to know what happened. So talk to us.
Yeah, man. First, I want to thank all the listeners. I mean, friends of the show, just friends of ours in general that reached out. Those that don't know, I had a concussion. It was a grade 2 concussion 2 weeks ago. So I competed in a pickleball tournament and got 2 silver medals. So that was fun. First one I ever, like hardcore one I ever competed in. We lost because of some sandbaggers. Sandbaggers are basically people that are a higher rating that pretend they're lower and they just want to play against like lesser competitive teams, right? It's almost like a varsity football team playing against JV because they know they're going to win, which is what we ran into during the men's tournament I played in. And only reason I know that is I followed these guys and it has all your stats. These guys have played in like 40 tournaments. I played in 2, right? I mean, it was good competition, it was good experience. I just don't know why these guys would do something like that other than they really want that $4 medal to make themselves feel better. But, you know, it was what it was.
So basically, they're playing in the expert section and you're in the novice section, basically. And
Intermediate. Not, yeah, I mean, novice,
okay.
yeah, a little intermediate section. I started playing this thing in January, right? I didn't even know this was a sport until then. So, you know, I'm starting off a little bit slow and intermediate. And these guys, I looked and they've traveled up and down the East Coast playing in tournaments.
But
And they were with a bunch of their buddies, and their buddies played in the advanced side. They felt like playing in the intermediate side. I'm guessing because maybe they didn't want to lose to their friends, but it was what it was. I mean, it helps them sleep better at night. So we ended up getting silver to them on Saturday. And then Sunday was the next day. And I played with another friend of mine in the mixed double. So it was men and women playing with each other against another team. Well, my partner decided to lop me upside the head with her paddle by accident, right in the face. Yeah. It was just a fluke. It was just a bad shot by her. Her follow through hit me right in the face. Next thing I know, I'm going down, and I remember nothing for the like couple minutes after that because my head, it wasn't cement, but it was like an indoor hockey soccer type floor, and it bounced off the floor, and they thought I had a heart attack because I wasn't moving. Right. And Mrs. Tailgate was actually playing in the same tournament, and she ran over, all these people ran over because I'm not moving. I'm just lying there lifeless on the floor. And I woke up, and my first reaction was, damn, are my glasses broken? Do I need a new pair of glasses? And then
I thought you were going to say, I'm Batman.
yeah, I mean, I might as well, dude. I was so freaking just out of it and shell shocked. And the second one was,
jeez,
the girl that hit me, her normal doubles partner was on the court, and I said, hey, good luck, she's your problem next time. And then ended up continuing to play, but the tournament officials asked me, what day of the week is it? And I said someday. They thought I said Sunday. Right. So they said, oh, he knows it's Sunday, he's okay, he can continue to play. I couldn't see straight, man. It was bad, but it was we were playing for a gold $4 medal. I wasn't going to stop.
Heck no. See, you had to go to the concussion protocol and be able to come back out. See, you didn't go in the tent.
There's no blue tent. So
you pulled an RG3 and said you're good.
Yeah, no,
in all actuality, you weren't.
I went back out there, but fast forward, I've had concussions playing rugby and playing football and stuff like that back in the day. This one was different. I had brain fog, man. I felt like Have you seen the Netflix roast of Tom Brady?
Parts of it, not the whole thing.
So Kevin Hart was basically making fun of everyone made fun of Gronk, but Kevin Hart was making fun of Gronk, saying I think he's like the first baby that came out with CTE, right? And I mean, it's just it's hilarious for those of you that haven't seen it, even if you're not a Patriots fan. It was just to me, it was funny, but I couldn't get words out. Like I knew what I wanted to say, I just couldn't get the actual sentences out of my head. It was just so weird. So when I texted you saying, hey, we can do a show, but we might have to edit the hell out of it because what I want to say isn't actually working. And I had a couple of work meetings where I said, I need to communicate with you over email because I can't talk to you in person or on camera right now. On top of that, I had to sit in the dark for a week because any bright lights were just killing me.
God dang it. And that's why I said, no, bro, we'll postpone it this last week and let's do one when you're better next week. And even if you weren't good enough this week, we would have postponed it again. But I'm actually happy that you are good. Thank God that you are good and that you are able to complete sentences and you don't need to be in the dark. I mean, I think I'm about to, in all honesty, with this lighting that's going on here. But hey, man, I'm glad that you're okay. So obviously pickleball is close quarters. Basically, the court is a smaller court, and so so were you going for a ball, or was she
Yeah.
just a wild windy and just hit you with it?
I was going for a ball that was technically mine, and
Hmm.
she thought she was just going to go for it. And her follow through with that paddle, it's basically a piece of 2x4. It's like a piece of wood. She hit
Hmm.
me in the face with it, and I wear eye protection just in case you get hit with a ball, stuff like that to protect
Yeah.
me. And it's like, oh damn, I see the actual paddle coming right towards me, and I couldn't get out of the way. And she's
Mm.
swinging this thing hard. I mean, you can serve that ball, a little wiffle ball, like 50, 60 miles an hour. So she's swinging hard
Shit.
right in the face. And just my head hitting that ground, I was out. And you usually don't have the symptoms of a concussion like as bad the second they happen. It's
Hmm.
usually later on it gets worse. And yeah, that was a fact, man. And I was at the beach, right? And I'm at the beach for a week. The swells were nice. I did not feel comfortable to jump in the bathtub, let alone jump in the ocean. So I just sat in my house, man. I was like, damn, this is a heck of a way to waste a vacation because Memorial Day weekend, I couldn't do anything.
God dog it. No cooking. So that basically you had to let Miss Tailgate basically baby you and let you do everything just relax and she can take care of everything.
I wish, man, she wasn't even there. It was just me and the cat just hanging out
Oh,
at the beach. So, because she
not
wanted me to
Mr.
come back to
Whiskers. Oh,
DC.
Mr. Whiskers. You and Mr. Whiskers. Did you ask Mr. Whiskers to cook you up something?
Hell no. No, I see what the hell he eats out of a can. But I wasn't leaving. I was on vacation. Even if I'm sitting in the dark in my house, it's away from DC, man. And I'm about to get that storm over here too. But you know, I just once again appreciate you and everyone else that reached out. We had a lot of listeners that texted and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And good news is I'm good now, and I'm also not playing with her again, so I should be straight.
Good. Good.
And if we are on the court at the same time, I got a helmet I'm putting on, so we'll be all right.
Crash helmet. God dang it.
I'll get my bike
Contact
helmet or
sport.
something. Yeah, it's not
Uh-uh.
really a contact sport, but man, what have you been up to? I've been seeing all the flyers. What's been going on with you?
Oh man, so I got all my contract. Well, I shouldn't say all my contracts. I got 95% of my contracts done, except for the games that are in the latter part of the season. But I had to jump on Arizona. I had to jump on Tampa Bay. Had to jump on uh, uh, Cincinnati, and and New Orleans because those are basically going to be the big trips, and they're Arizona and Tampa Bay are right out the gate. So I had to get those taken care of. And as you can see, for Tampa Bay, it's a great price. Double occupancy. I mean, 30, 100, 100, $100 a pay period, basically $100 every 2 weeks, $1,000 for a double occupancy. I mean, you can't beat that. And it includes transportation from the hotel to the stadium, you know, airfare, round trip airfare, and a hotel with free breakfast, free drinks at the hotel. I mean, you can't beat it. So, a lot of people were asking me, "Hey, is this real?" And a lot of people think that I guess it's because maybe they've been duped over the internet before, or maybe they just don't believe that it's true. I get these phone calls and say, how can you offer this deal and this type of things. I'm
Are you
like, well, you
serious?
sign up for it and join us and you'll see, or just look through my reviews that I have. So it is what it is. Regardless, we're gonna go and we're gonna represent. And I think that right now, I've got a good handful of people that are going on this trip. It's more than what I expected at this point. The first deposit is technically due on the 31st, this Friday, but a lot of people have gone ahead and just paid theirs outright. I was actually surprised at that.
So if someone misses the first deposit and you still have spots, can they just give you extra money later on to catch up on that first deposit?
Oh, heck yeah, they can always catch up. I
Yeah.
always tell
Okay.
people, I always tell people, you can pay it off early, but you just can't pay it off late. You
Yeah, that
can't be
makes
late.
sense.
Yeah.
So for those wondering, and shame on you if you guys don't know, Rally has sbevents.net where he is booking trips. I mean, he's going to these away games, and a majority of the times he has a ton of Washington fans with him, and he's setting these packages up. So I've had a lot of people text me and asking me about Tampa because they know Mrs. Tailgate's from there, and I always do a
Hmm.
big thing down in Tampa. Like, are you going? And this is actually the first year I'm not going to Tampa. And I'll get down into that in a minute
Is
when we
that
break down
is
the
that
schedule.
why is that why it's storming out because you aren't going to Tampa? Is that what it is? You brought this storm here.
I wanted to go, man. That was the one game where to me it's like it's two birds, one stone. I can see my in-laws, not get bitched at. I can get them field passes so they can feel, hey, my son-in-law isn't a complete POS. He's actually hooking us up with something. But bruh, I ain't going to Tampa in September when it's humid as hell out. The last time we played them, I want to say was October. And that's fine. That's fine. I get it. I mean, shoot, I'll play it. Right. Little days of our lives. It was 100 degrees on the field in October when we were there. And I'm not wasting my blood and sweat to sit down. And but on top of that, the season opener for them is just going to be expensive because their fans are all hyped up after being in the playoffs. And I don't want to deal with it.
It's
So
the first game of the season.
I gotcha. And I'd rather just get prepped for the first home game personally. So I
Okay.
was just the one away game I really wanted to go to was Tampa. And I'll talk about that when we talk about the schedule release. I want to break down the schedule with you in a little bit here. But that was kind of one of my frustrating things because I got a bunch of friends, What the Buck. They do a massive tailgate down in Tampa, similar to
Hmm.
what I do up here in DC. And I'm going to miss it. And it's driving me crazy. But I've been telling everybody, just hit you up, SB Events, jump on that. Caitlin from the tailgate, Tim from the tailgate, like a bunch of them. Jeff, they're all asking, like, are we going to Tampa? We're going to Tampa. I was like, I ain't going, but Rally's going, and he's got a ton of people. So make sure you hit him up for it.
Well, you gotta let me know about the whole what the buck thing because I can include that with my package because people are always asking, hey, where's the tailgate in this particular city that we're going to? And a lot of times I don't know and I find out, at the last minute, and it's just a headache trying to coordinate everybody to go to the certain things. So, but yeah, if you let me know about that, I greatly appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I can't wait because actually Tampa Bay. Now I will agree with you for just slightly. I will put the Heat aside, and because it's the first game of the season and the first time that we're actually going to see our Rook play. At least my fingers are crossed that he will get the start. I'm sure he probably will. I really want to see what these guys are going to do because um, I'll go back to that, but I wanted Tampa Bay, in all honesty, to be in November. I would have loved it
Yeah.
for it to be in December, But hey, the football gods didn't put that on us. He didn't bless us that way. So
No,
because of that, I'm gonna deal with it and sweat my butt off and hopefully see us get our first win for the first game of the season.
well, I mean, you're at every game, right? So, fan like me that I don't want to say they go to a couple of games during the season. Like Tampa was one I looked at, and Cincy was one I looked at. And, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't want to jump ahead too far, but I ain't
Mm-hmm.
doing Tampa. And, we'll have to take a look and see what else we got going on. But one thing I was looking forward to was going to OTAs and going to minicamp. And it's already what? We're coming up on the third week of minicamp, something like that.
What's stopping you from going to OTAs?
So the team just sent out a letter, and this is news probably to a lot of the listeners and fans out there of the team. If you had an ultra membership, so those of you that don't know, when you sign up to be a season ticket member, you can pick different packages that you associate yourself with. So I'm in the business package. They've got a ultra membership package. They've got like a family package. Each of them has different perks, right?
Right.
The
I'm
business
ultra. Yeah.
package, yeah. You get a chance to do different stuff where it's like a dinner with the legends, and you get to go to a golf event, like a golf tournament with a bunch of the Washington legends.
Okay.
One of the packages, they do like a team store takeover, and you get to go to Busch Gardens with like your kids and stuff like that. So it's different for every package. But
Correct.
this letter just came out, and it is
Mm,
Wednesday at 4 o'clock, right?
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this, but I'm listening.
So I'll give my opinion, and then you give yours after the fact. But it says, as you undoubtedly have seen, we are having a busy offseason, including a very active free agency and successful draft. With our new ownership team, new GM Adam Peters, and new head coach Dan Quinn, we are making significant investments in our stadium, fan experience, and all aspects of the football program with a football and player first approach. Those investments extend to construction at our Ortho, Virginia training center to improve facilities for our players and coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Due to this important work, we are extremely limited in space at our OTA sessions. As your ultra membership type for the 2024 season included access to OTAs, we are working to schedule another event for you, and we'll be in touch soon. We greatly appreciate your support in creating a better facility for our players and coaches, and understanding that this work will help us in bringing a championship caliber team back to the DMV. We look forward to having you out to watch your Washington Commanders gear up for an exciting season ahead. Your member services team. So that's the letter. And personally, I am fine with it, right? The team got rated in the last NFLPA poll like an F minus. And that's taking all the grades into play. And I probably should have had the latest poll up while we were going over this, but they're trying to make improvements to the facility. If any of you listen to JP Finley and B Mitch, he's talking about all the construction going on out in Ashburn, right? And everything that's happening out there. For those of you that don't go out to Ashburn and haven't seen it. So there is a lot going on out there. And those of you that have been to the facility in the past, it's not exactly fan friendly to the point of they brought those bleachers in last year, but other than that, it hasn't been the best. So on top of that, having construction, there's just a lot of distractions going on. So they're saying they're not having fans come out for OTAs because they're making these improvements, and the head coach and Adam Peters is focusing on the team right now. Me, I'm good with it. I am not an autograph person. I am not a let me take pictures with a bunch of players person. Whenever I go to OTAs or mini camp and stuff like that, it's for content for our show and content for me to talk on Fox 5 or whatever news station I'm on. I know for some of our listeners, it's about how many autographs they can get, whether they're selling them on the aftermarket or whatever, or to get their Instagram likes up. So there's going to be a lot of pissed off fans, and maybe my opinion isn't going to be the same as theirs, but that's just my take. Whatever it takes for us to get more wins than losses, and if this is what Dan Quinn and Adam Peters thinks will help them do that, shoot, cancel all of practice for the fans as far as I'm concerned.
Well, my hand is up, and there's a part of me that agrees, but then there's a part of me that disagrees. And I disagree because, well, let me say this. I think that even though there's construction going on, and I have to say, I have not been out there, so I don't know how much that construction actually impedes the walkway for people to get down to the actual practice field. Now, if that construction equipment impedes people for their safety of getting down there, then yes, I'm all for it. But if it doesn't, I say that you have a lottery system and you're not going to please everybody. You have a lottery system, and hey, you allow a certain number of people to go, because the way I look at it is, the press there. If the press is there, then you can allow fans there, because the press is no more important to me than your fan base. That's just me. People can be upset. People can be happy. I, for one, I think that if you allow the press, then you can allow fans, a slight number of fans. Then okay. Now, here's the other
Well, let
thing.
me stop you. They
Uh huh.
have to allow the press.
Why?
That's because it's an NFL rule, right?
Okay.
The press has to be allowed because it's the NFL is mandating them to be
Okay.
there, and it's something that they have worked out. So they
Nope.
cannot forbid the press from being there, but the press cannot stay there for all of practice. They don't get to go to all of the sessions. They get to be
Hmm.
invited to some of the sessions.
And I
So
understand that. My biggest point was, if the conditions are good enough for the press to be able to scurry down the hill, then you should allow some fans to go there. Now, I get it. I also feel that it's a, and I could be wrong with this, and a lot of times I am wrong, but I've got my own opinion like everybody else, so I'm going to spew it on our show. I think it's more so maybe a secretive type of thing. We got a new offense, we got new everything coming in. They don't want everybody to see what we got going on, because no matter what you say, don't take pictures, don't video, blase blase, people still do it. And so I would think that at this juncture, with the install the way that it is, that they can do everything they need to do without the prying eyes. But I'm a little upset. Will I get over it? Yes, I'll get over it. And like you, if it means that the team is going to be better and the facilities are going to be better for those players, which I really don't see how. That's the biggest. I really don't see how not allowing fans to walk down there is prohibiting possibly construction or prohibiting whatever they got going on. Unless, like I said, I haven't been there, I haven't seen pictures. If they're torn that whole walkway or grassy area up, then you know what? Then no, don't. And it's unsafe for fans, then no, don't do it. But if it is, then hey, let a couple people come in and get their jollies. That's how I look at it.
no, I hear you. And if you were or if you are an ultra member, then I agree with you. If it was okay, then you let a lottery system, not even a lottery system, like I'm a business member, right? And they had a dinner with the legends for next Thursday, June 6th.
Hmm.
And an email went out, and they only had I want to say 500 spots at the restaurant.
Okay.
It filled up in a matter of minutes. They
Hmm.
have more than 500 business members.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
I missed it. And I wanted to go because my birthday is literally the next day. Figured, hey, this will be kind of a fun thing to do, go hang out there. But I didn't get a chance to. So to me, from your logic, it's not even a lottery system. Like the first however many people for spots that they deem safe, then okay, do that. But from their standpoint, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, the team is saying this, just from my thing is, I don't think it has anything to do with install or anything like that right now. They're not going in depth on install. On top of that, the press is out there. So they could make comments, even though there's an unwritten rule on what you can say and what you can't say. It did
Hmm.
drive me crazy last year during training camp where they would ask fans not to take pictures or not to take video, and you had fans not listen. And all you are doing as a fan is hurting your team when you take those videos, because guess who sees those videos? Other teams.
Yeah, the
And you're fooling
spies.
yourself. Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, when I went to the joint practice up in Baltimore, that we had last year, they had the same type of concept. Hey, no videos, no pictures, whatever have you. And they were strict. I mean, they were strict. I mean, our guys, uh, it was just different.
Yeah.
Our guys, they try to enforce it. No, Baltimore, their staff, they enforce it.
I think
And
part of that is Baltimore's a winning franchise, right? And they don't put up with a lot. We are, let's just be real. We are a perennial loser, and they are begging fans to come back. So they were a little more just lapse in
mm,
the rules, and they were trying to do everything they possibly can not to offend people that came out there. They asked people to remove videos from social media after the fact, but at that point, stuff is already out there.
once
So
once it's out there, it's out there. It ain't coming
yeah.
back.
And, hey, if you're a social media person or a podcaster like Riley and I, and you're trying to get clicks and links, I'm not going to shame you on that. Just know that you're just hurting our team, right? If Jaden has a play that him and Kingsbury are working up during training camp, and we will be able to go to training camp. They are not talking about us not doing training camp. This is just strictly for OTAs. Training camp is going to happen, and all of these things are supposed to be in place or taken care of or in a better place by the time training camp gets here. But just putting up all these videos and stuff like that, just, I don't know, it bothers me personally. And I'm sorry if you didn't get a chance to get a picture with Jaden Daniels at rookie minicamp. You'll be okay. You'll be fine.
No, I
Don't
won't
cry.
be. I won't be okay. Don't you understand? I won't be okay. Anyway, but that you bring up to a good point. So they're going to have training camp. Do we know what the dates are for training camp yet?
No, it's not official yet. Those dates haven't been announced or come out. What has been announced is that the team is going to do a joint practice with the Dolphins and with the Jets. We have 2 preseason games,
Mhm.
right? And what actually is it, the Jets or what is
The
who are our
Jets.
yeah.
Yeah, the Jets.
So we're doing a preseason game with the Dolphins and with the Jets, and it's going to be one preseason game, one day of practice before the actual game. So Mike McDaniels came out and talked about it, and then Dan Quinn came out and talked about it after the fact. And they have not announced if they're going to do anything with the Patriots because the Patriots are coming here. And once again, I mean, I referenced JP Finley, my boy, and I also listen to the show religiously. He said they did not see a way for the Commanders to host another team here for joint practice at the Ashburn facility, considering all the construction and everything that's going on right now, that it's just not conducive to be able to host another team. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that plays into your opinion with them not letting us go to OTAs, but that's another reason why we're not doing joint practices here. And for those of you wondering, why aren't we practicing with the Ravens? Well, we play the Ravens in the regular season. If you're playing them in the regular season, you're not going to practice with them during the preseason.
No.
So
Yeah, because they're going to see your tendencies and things of that nature. Well, that also brings up another thing, Ted. For us to be able to have joint practices, I was hearing something about the possibility of Richmond, not this year, but Richmond next year. What do you think about that? Do you think that to help facilitate things of that nature, that they will take things back to Richmond?
I can see them going someplace. I don't know if Richmond makes sense.
Hmm.
Richmond wasn't an ideal situation. The players would jump on a yellow school bus, like you and I would ride to school, right? To get from the team hotel to the facility. If they needed to get rehab or things like that, it wasn't easy. And a lot of the players complained about it. So to
Oh,
be in a situation like that, it didn't work. And I don't know if any of you remember, I want to say it was when the Texans came to town and they went down to Richmond for a joint practice because I remember them joning on us because one of the lines wasn't straight. It's like the guy that was pushing the line machine sneezed, and then all of a sudden it went like sideways, and they never fixed it. It's just
oh, little things like that.
Richmond.
That was the old regime.
Yeah,
That was the old
it
regime.
was. It
This is the
was.
new
But
regime.
the facility is the facility. You can't change the layout and where the team had to stay from a hotel perspective and stuff like that. So I just don't think it was something that they wanted to do. And maybe they go someplace else. Maybe they go to, Annapolis and do something out there with, at Navy Stadium, and they take over a dorm or something. Who knows? Maybe being that we're their commanders or something like that happens. But I do think that joint practices is something that most head coaches want, because you can't simulate things in a preseason game like you can during joint practices. If you want to
Yeah.
work on goal line, you just set up an entire 20-minute session of your joint practice to focus on goal line. You can't do that during a preseason game. You want Jaden to get reps against this type of scenario? Well, you could easily do that during a joint practice, and you cannot do that during a preseason game. So I'm glad that we're going to the Jets. I'm glad that we're going down to Miami, because guess who's a damn good quarterback? Aaron Rodgers and freaking Tua, right?
Yeah.
So our defense will get some work, and we'll see what happens. And it's going to be interesting to see how all this goes.
Our offense as well was going to get some help and work rather. And I agree with you that we've always said it on our previous pods, to where, hey, when it comes down to training camp, they got the brother system. You know what I mean? And we talked about it, that you're not going to go as hard as if you would have if you're going against an opposite color jersey or someone who you don't know. So your brother, hey, you'll go maybe 60%, 50%, but you're not going to go 100%. But now that this other team, you're going against another team, their players are trying to make the team. They're trying to impress their coach. They're trying to put good film on tape. So, hey, I like it a lot, and I look forward to seeing what our squad is going to look like. Even though we're going to get small tidbits of it, I just want to be able to see that, to feel more comfortable, because right now we've got a lot of hype behind us, and we've got a lot of excitement behind us. And the thing is, that is only going to take you so far. You got to be able to put it down when it comes time to. And so I really am hoping that there won't be any fights, even though we know how that goes as well. But hopefully there's less fights that we've had in the past, and that we can go ahead and get this work done that needs to be done to help our team go forward.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I am bummed, because I went to basically every training camp practice last year, so we could come back and talk about it on the show, and we could kind of see things in person and what was going on. Was Sam really going to be the guy, type of thing? And I'm not going to get a chance to do that this year. And I'd love to go down to Miami, but I'm not spending money to go to Miami to go watch a training camp or go to a preseason game, and I'm not going up to New York to go deal with that. So, I'm sorry, I could care less about Aaron Rodgers and watching him, even though we missed him last year during that Christmas Eve game for the Jets. But I am looking forward to seeing how some of these vets are helping each other. And John Keim actually had an article, I want to say it was just like 5 days ago. Bobby Wagner, all-pro, Pro Bowl linebacker, was going up against Sam Cosmi, and he was actually yelling out to Cosmi that he was going to pull on a play. And at the end of the play, Cosmi actually asked Bobby, "How did you know I was going to do that?" And Bobby said, "I could tell by your body movement." Cosmi said, "I was trying to disguise it." I asked him what he saw, and he was like, "You were leaning. You were leaning this way." And they basically said you could kind of see your knuckles. Did you ever see Invincible?
Yes.
So those of you that haven't seen it, I mean, I like the movie until Philly wins. I try and turn it off. It's like those people that turn off Old Yeller before the dog dies. Like, I turn off Invincible before they actually get good. But during the movie, there's a key moment where Mark Wahlberg recognizes, because one of the vets said, if you see the guy's knuckles go white, it means do this or don't do this. And he saw the knuckles go white, and he realized, oh, damn, I can get that rush in. And he was able to get it. And he blocked that punt. And this is basically what Bobby Wagner was telling Cosmi. Like, you may be a vet, but I've been in this league longer. And there was another line in the article that I thought was actually a great one. It's sharing scars with the other players that they had talked about. And just, you may think you know this game, but we've been through it before. and helping you not have those same mistakes that we kind of went through. And that to me is what we're not going to get a chance to see, whether it's at OTAs, and we probably won't see it during training camp because that's going to be something so just personal to those players lining up across from each other. But that's also something they're going to get a chance to finally see against other competition. Especially, we saw what Miami did to us, man. It was a freaking track meet, and they're doing roller coaster celebrations. And I would not mind if someone took a cheap shot at them for that damn celebration.
Cheap
But
shot? Come on, Ted. No cheap shots, bro.
dude,
We're
that was
above that.
embarrassing, man. On Hard
We're above that.
Knocks.
Hey, look here, man. The fact of the matter is, don't get mad because they scored a touchdown. Our job is to stop it. So if you can't stop it, you get to celebrate. The NFL has put that rule back into the no fun league. So they've made it fun. One of the things I'm actually happy to hear is that he was receptive
Yeah.
of the critique, because we've heard in training camps of the past where, hey, some guys weren't too happy about the critique when they were saying, hey, I knew you were going to throw that ball over there because you were telecasting, and I'm not going to mention who it was, but we all know who that back in the day. Bless his soul. He said, no, I wasn't. And he goes, yeah, I knew you were going to throw the ball over there because you were telecasting. That's you were going to do that. So, I'm very happy that these guys are open to the critique, because that's what is going to help them get better.
Yeah. And I mean, going up against the Dolphins, I mean, the Dolphins were, what were they last year? Looking at their record, they were 11-6. I mean, being able to go up against talent like that, we only went to the Ravens, the one time. So we didn't practice against any other teams. So being able to do this multiple times and seeing other competition, this to me is already an improvement. I mean, we're light years ahead of what we got stuck with last year from the coaching staff and just a plan and everything else. They talked about how last year, and when I say they, some of the beat reporters like Nikki Javala and John Kant were talking about how there was a lot of standing around during mini camp. Right now, they've been splitting the teams up where someone is always doing something and guys aren't just standing around. Right? They've been splitting the field up half and half, where first team is over here, second team's over here, and someone's doing something, and then the coaches go back and look at the tape after for stuff they didn't get a chance to see. So they're just so much more efficient when it comes down to everything. And harping back to the OTAs and us not going, if this means they can be even more efficient, then cancel OTAs for all of us if it gets us a couple more wins, man. Because really, once again, and you joked about it earlier, I did a show with Larry Michael, and it was called Redskins Late Night. And I also helped with security during the show. There was one guy, and I'll give you his real name after the fact, but the guy got kicked out of Tyson's corner because when he showed up, he had 5 footballs all deflated that he was trying to get autographs from one of the players that was there, right? And you have adults at training camp now that are pushing kids out of the way so they can get autographs. To me, you should only get an autograph if you're in middle school, or let's just say, okay, high school down. If you're older than that, you shouldn't get an autograph. I'm sorry. It's for those kids in that scenario trying to build the younger crop of our fan base. But this guy at Tyson's corner literally kicked a hole in one of the walls at Tyson's, and security found him, and he got banned from the mall from that. And this is grown men being upset. So I think that's who's going to be upset with this announcement, and they're not going to understand. And so sad, too bad. I could care less. And let's just move on.
I'm a grown man, and I understand, but I'm also upset. I can't have my cake and eat it too. I mean, what else am I supposed to do with cake? I've got to eat it, right? So I can have all of those feelings, okay? All right?
But we go to training camp. We still get to go to training camp.
Yeah, we do.
We'll still be out there. Granted, it's going to be hotter. And you all know that I'm a little soft when it comes to heat. So, we'll see what goes. I did find a hat. I'll put a picture of it. I found a hat that I actually want to get for training camp, right? And it's got 2 solar panels on the top of it, and it's got fans that blow on top of you. So I was going to plan on rocking that for training camp. That so I can kind of hide, because I'm sick and tired of people walking up to me asking me what I'm cooking for the season, and I kind of want to stay cool, man. So
we'll see how it goes. Brain. That's what I'm cooking in his training camp.
And it's just as hot in Tampa for week 1. And speaking of week one, so we wanted to do a kind of a schedule thing last week. Obviously, concussion, didn't get a chance to do it, but
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the schedule until today because I didn't want
Mm.
to I didn't want to kind of spoil it for anything. But what were your initial thoughts when the schedule came out?
Um, I didn't really have any thoughts per se, and I say that because I was just excited for it to come out. The only thing that maybe I questioned was our late buy again. That kind of made me just say, "Gee, again." I was happy that we weren't playing on Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. I was very happy that we weren't playing on either of those 3 dates because we haven't had great luck playing on those dates. Hell, we haven't had good luck playing, period. So I guess the date didn't matter, but I definitely didn't want us to play on those 3 dates, and I was happy about that. The buys would kind of just made me, just kind of uh, shake my head a little bit. But other than that, I was surprised that we got a primetime game against the Bengals. I really wondered what sparked that. I thought primetime was something that people look forward to, and I don't really see that being that big of a competition between us to warrant primetime. But hey, they did it, so I'll roll with it.
So, yes, it's a primetime game, but I feel like we got gypped. The NFL is doing 2 Monday night games that day. So the Jags and the Bills play at 7:30. We're the 8:15 game, right? You couldn't even give us a primetime game where we're the only game that week. Like you had to make
Ah,
us share that Monday night with the
okay.
Jags and the Bills. And I mean, if you're in Washington or you're in Cincy, yeah, you're going to watch us. But nationally, unless you're a big Joe Burrow fan, I think you're going to have a ton of people obviously watching that Bills game, and they're on first. They're on at 7:30. So is someone going to watch the Bills and then switch over to us the second we start? Unless you're in this local market or you got Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow on your fantasy squad. I mean, I don't know. That kind of annoyed me. So my initial reactions looking at the schedule when it came out is screw you, Roger, for making Tampa week one. Because, like you, I wanted it to be November, December, something like that, because October is still too hot down there for me. I don't like the fact that Cincy is a Monday night game because I was hoping to go to that game. I don't know how much those tickets are going to cost now. That's a Monday night game. If it would have been a Sunday game, I think the tickets would have been easier to come by for the fan base to get out there. Now that it's a Monday night, I think it's going to be pricier. I also would have liked Arizona to be later on, just
Hmm.
because it'd be nice to change up some of these, cold weather games that we have. Like we're playing Tennessee here in DC on December 1st. Like it would have been nice if Tennessee was earlier and we went out to Arizona instead December 1st, right? Just to kind of change it up so we're not here. And I'm also annoyed that, okay, we got the Steelers on we got the Steelers one day, and then 4 days later, we got to worry about playing the freaking Eagles on a Thursday night game. So we got the Eagles on a short week. And that to
Yeah.
me, you should never put a team on a short week against a division rival. If you gave us a short week against a AFC team, then that game doesn't matter as much. But division
Hmm.
games count for 1.5. So if you would have made that Titans game, no, so this game is in Philly. So if you would have made, let's just say the Ravens game against them a Thursday night versus the Eagles game a Thursday night, however they change it up, it's A, going to Baltimore. So it's a hell of a lot shorter trip to get up
Hmm.
there. And B, it's against an AFC opponent. So it doesn't hurt as much in the standings for tiebreakers and things like that. That would have been great. And yes, I understand we have 10 days rest before Dallas, but still, that Pittsburgh game is going to be tough. Pittsburgh always plays everybody tough. And now you mean to tell me you got 3 days to get ready for Philly, going up to Philly on a Thursday night where those idiot fans still think Rocky's real?
Well, the question is, do we know if who Philly plays? Do they play a division game that Sunday prior to, to maybe kind of even things out a little bit?
No, so we have Philly is on November 14th. Philly plays the Cowboys on the 10th. So yeah, they do have
Okay.
a division game 4 days prior in Dallas.
Well,
But
it evens
I don't
itself
give a
out a little
damn.
bit.
I
I
don't
know
care
you.
about Philly. It's Philly's
Hey,
schedule. I don't care about them, man.
hey,
We're the
hey,
fourth place team of the division. We're
hey,
supposed to have a fourth place schedule.
hey, man, this we're like the Marines, baby. Earn, never given. So we gonna earn it this year, man. We gonna earn it and let them know why we gonna win the division, man.
I actually had you met him during the draft. I was one of the Cowboy super fan, this guy Ben, and he put up a post of NFC East champions, blah blah blah, Dallas Cowboys, and I had to chime in and say, you do know that there hasn't been a repeat winner of the East in quite some time. And
Hmm.
he put like a frowny face emoji and blah blah blah. And yes, I am Facebook friends with Cowboy fans. Before any of you guys
Oh yeah.
clean your ears out, weren't sure if you heard that right, but I just I am happy like you that we don't have Dallas on Thanksgiving. And I'm happy that we get Christmas. So we don't have to worry about being away for Christmas and you getting stranded in Denver or wherever you got stuck last time. So that'll be good. And, we got 2 home games in December with Philly and Atlanta coming to town. So,
Hmm.
we'll see how that goes. So schedule wise, it's not that bad. Selfishly, I think the only away game that I'm excited about going to is probably New Orleans in December now, just
Mm.
because I'm not the biggest fan of some of those other spots. I'm not going to New York. I wouldn't mind going with you to Philly on that Thursday night game. And I'm sorry, I ain't going to Baltimore. It gets stabby up in Baltimore. So I'm going to pass on that one.
I'll be in Baltimore. I'm not doing for
Well, you're
everybody
all
that
over, man.
asks. Well, the thing is, everyone always asks, "Hey, are you going to Baltimore?" And I say, "Yeah." Well, are you going to offer a trip? And I said, "No. What I'm going to do is just catch a train up there because the train lets you off right there at the stadium, basically. So that's what I probably will do is just catch a train up to Baltimore, and I recommend that everybody else do that as well. And the last
You and
time we
I
played,
actually need to take that offline real quick because somebody from a very famous restaurant actually reached out to me and wanted to talk to you about doing a Commander's tailgate in Baltimore at the restaurant.
okay,
So just if you can see my screen, we'll take that off. But yeah, we'll see what's up.
okay, say less.
But I hear you. I'd take the train up too.
Yeah,
So, if we're going up there, the last time we played in Baltimore, just their
we won.
fans, I can't stand their fans, man. They hate us and we
Nobody's
don't
ever
play them once, but
no
it
one
gets
has ever
stabby, man.
given
I don't want to deal with it.
they've never given me a hard time at all, man. Maybe it's just because I'm the captain. I don't know, but they haven't. No one's even talked trash with me in Baltimore. Now, maybe I just jinx myself, but the only place that actually talks the trash is Philly, and I've just grown accustomed to that thick skin. It doesn't even bother me. You say what you want to say, I don't care. I just keep walking. But Baltimore, they've been very friendly. I had an IPA in Baltimore that put me on my butt. I will say this, I forget the name of it, Doghead something. I think maybe that's what it was. And the guy's like, "Nah, it's kind of strong." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, man. It's just a beer." Ho, ho, ho. The captain was flying in Baltimore and not with the Ravens, if you know what I mean. I couldn't believe that. I think it was a dogfish. It was
Dogfish
something that
head,
had,
probably.
yeah, I think it had something to do with the dog and fish. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
remember, but
a Maryland beer. Dogfish head is a
yeah,
Maryland type brew.
yeah,
So
that thing had me spinning, bro. I was like, God dog it.
they've got a
So
60-minute IPA, which is probably what you had, which is one of their most famous ones. And yeah, it's
hmm
definitely got a high ABV. And I don't know. I also I'm not a fan of the town, so I don't blame you for not doing like a long trip up there. Because if you step like 3 blocks away from the inner harbor,
look out,
just
Jack.
don't step outside if it's dark out. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
look out, Jack. Yeah, you know. So I've never been to Cincinnati before. I've been through it, around it, over it, but I've never actually set foot in Cincy. So, and that's a night game. So, the good thing is we're within walking distance to the stadium from our hotel, and I'm looking forward to that because I get to check that stadium off the list, and I only have one left. So Cincinnati, God willing, will go on the the W flag. And I can't wait to get that embroidered. We got a long way to go, but just know that I'm getting excited about getting that embroidered on the flag. And the last stadium will be Pittsburgh, and I don't know when we'll play them again, but when we do, that'll be the last stadium, and I will be able to retire.
So you're going to retire the flag? You're not going to bring it out anymore?
No, I'll bring it out, but I will probably retire from going to away games.
Oh, are you serious?
I'm
What?
serious. Yeah.
Are you Rally Captain is not going to go to all the games anymore once you hit Pittsburgh?
Probably not.
Damn.
You heard it here first. Breaking news on the DMV Mess Hall.
That is crazy.
It's time for somebody else to carry the throne, bro.
I mean, you could probably have a hog farmer pick it up or something, because I know they're going to a majority of the games. But I need a countdown clock. I'm going to build a website, man, for whenever we play Pittsburgh, whatever year that's going to be, because it's every 8 years. So you tell them at least 8 years from now. No, 4 years from now, we go back to Pittsburgh, right? Is that how it works?
Unless we be seen in the playoffs or something.
Well, we wouldn't see them in the playoffs because of AFC.
Or we play them in a preseason game.
Oh, so we played them in 2020 in Pittsburgh because it was COVID and we couldn't go.
Yeah.
And they actually, I think they moved the game to Tuesday because of it.
Yeah.
At that point, and we beat them.
I had a crazy bus trip that was going to be planned to go up there, and all those dreams got cut short. So missed out, and we won.
So yeah, 2028 Rally's hanging up the flag. That's crazy, man. I honestly, I've had people ask me, when am I going to stop tailgating? And I was joking around the other day with Mrs. Tailgate that I might join the senior tour for the pickleball stuff and see if I can, travel and do that. And I can't join the senior tour anytime soon because I'm not that old, contrary to, I actually had a guy ask me if I was 60 the other day because yeah, man, it was
this after the concussion?
Oh, I had the concussion when this was going on, but he asked me, "Are you 60?" And I said, "Do I look 60?" I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "No. You get a bus pass for $10 for 2 years in Ocean City if you're 60." I'm like, "Okay, well, I got a little bit to go. I appreciate you asking. I'm going to immediately go buy some Just for Men and shave my head right now." But no, I don't. I'm not joining the senior tour yet. And I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to retire from tailgating. I don't have anyone that's picking up the torch and doing that whole thing. And maybe I'll hold off until we get to the new stadium and I'll have one farewell tour, like who was it? Springsteen going on tour and everything else.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a sad day for at least me trying to find you on TV on Sundays, man. I got something to look forward to. Like, oh, hey, honey, there he is.
Yeah.
But it's, you hit me with a bombshell there, man.
Hey, man, like you, I'm getting older, and it's a feat. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't know I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you're in the air constantly for every single game, no matter what. And I mean, obviously you set aside time and money and leave and everything else, but doing what I do, I don't even go to these away games, is a grind and a half. And doing what you do, just going back and forth, zero chance. I mean, maybe if I was in my 20s and I had unlimited money, but I know I'm not 60 and I know you're not 20. So
well, I ain't 60 either, brother. But I would have said to that guy, "Well, let me look at my battery. You mean 60% battery life on my phone? I mean, what the hell are you talking about?" Yeah, no, man, we're getting up there, and it's one of those things to where home games, and I probably would still go to maybe a bigger away game, But as far as all of them, nah, I won't be doing that.
Yeah, hey, dude, I don't blame you. And hopefully I think they talked about building a Washington museum and I'm not saying this because you're my boy, but that's something I'd love to see in that Washington Museum. Like a couple of the Hogettes are good friends of mine, and they've
Mm-hmm.
got some amazing collections of memorabilia. And some of them, well, they're all getting up there in age. And to be able to put some of that stuff in a Washington museum that the guys have collected over the years, like a seat cushion from the
Yeah.
seat cushion game back in the day, and your flags that have gone to all those places. To me, that's something special. It's like if any of you have ever been to Canton, they rotate things in and out of Canton, and one of RG3's jerseys is in there. And I want to say it's his jersey from the Saints game where he just surprised everybody and just kind of took the NFL just off guard at that
Mm-hmm.
point. And
I think his
jumping
shoe.
in,
I think one of his shoes is in there as well. When I was there, I think I saw
yeah,
that.
I wouldn't be surprised. And before we end the show, I want to we'll think of what it is, but maybe like a friendly wager. Maybe who pays for the steak dinner, right? And
Steak. You're
either it's
talking.
the away game dinner on the one away game I go to, or multiple away games I go to with you, or whatever. But who pays for the steak dinner? I want to do a season breakdown on wins and losses. Not going to go in depth. I'll just say the game, and you tell me win or loss. I'm going to give you mine as well. And then after preseason, before the season starts, I want to do the same thing, and we see who's close and go from there. And winner gets a steak dinner.
Okay. So instead of winner chicken dinner, winner steak dinner. All right.
Sam Howell's gone, man. There ain't no chicken dinners over here.
Chicken tenders.
I mean, that's one reason, why I'm glad he ain't here, because that was just embarrassing. We did the all chicken menu, and it was a hit, but we only won 2 home games that year, so we weren't doing that again. Or 1 home game that year, actually. So,
yeah. Well, not obviously Commander's news, but they say he's lighting it up in Seattle, man. I mean, so you never know how you go to a different program and you thrive. Who knows? So.
Yeah, it's mini camp. And what I heard the other day that Caleb Williams threw, I think it was 6 interceptions or something in a row at practice. They were talking about
Wentz.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. And hey, I'm rooting for Sam. I hope he does well up there. I just hope that Jaden does better.
Of course.
Because you're going to have all those naysayers see, we never should have taken Jaden. We could have just kept Sam here.
It's coming. It's coming. And we've said, hey, look, bring it down a notch just in case. I mean, everybody's excited, but bring it down a notch because he's a true rook. He is. But
he's impressing some people out there. But I want to see where your notch level is, right? So we open up week 1 in Tampa.
I'm going to say win.
Or no? You're saying
I'm going to say win. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to say L.
Okay.
Week 1 in Tampa. It's just Tampa won a playoff game last year. They're still riding that high. Baker's a good team. I mean, we'll see how it goes, right? But I'm going L for that game. So don't want to elaborate too much, just time-wise.
Yeah.
But we got the home opener, New York Giants, week 2, coming to Commanders Field or SBEvents.net field, depending on how many people put deposits down.
I'm going to say we're going with a win.
I'm going with a W there too.
All right.
So we're both on the same page there. Week 3, Monday night, Bengals. What do you got?
I'm going to say loss.
I'm going with an L too. Just being realistic here. So week 4, going out to the desert, Arizona.
I'm going with a win.
So I want to say win because I think it's going to mean more to Cliff Kingsbury to have that revenge game. I think he's going to have something special for those guys. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go win. Week 5, we got the Cleveland Browns coming to town.
Win.
All right, I'm going L against the Browns.
Home crowd. I'm going with a win.
I hear you. I mean, yeah, I don't see Brown fans traveling coming down here and taking over FedEx Field.
No.
So week 6, going up to Baltimore. A lot of purple camo.
Loss.
All right. I'm with you on an L. Week 7, we got Carolina coming to town.
We'll go with win.
I'm going with must win. If we lose that game against
Must win.
Carolina, I mean, you can't lose.
So you're putting the MW up there. Okay.
Oh yeah, you cannot lose to the 2-15 Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry. Their team has not improved. I don't think they're going to improve. We got to win that game.
Okay.
This game, I am shocked that they didn't make it a primetime game. And I'm kind of annoyed. Week 8, we got the Bears 1:00. The 1 pick versus the 2 pick.
I'm surprised that wasn't a primetime game as well. I just knew that it would be because there's, like you said, this number 1 and number 2, and so
the story writes itself.
Exactly. You don't have to try to build it up. I'm gonna go with a win.
So I want to say win, man. They just kicked our ass last year.
That was last year, bro.
And they got better this year, right? It's just, I mean, okay.
Do we know that for sure?
Yes, they got better this year. So looking at the Chicago Bears' biggest strengths in 2023, led by a breakout star cornerback, Jalen Johnson. Chicago played very good defense down the stretch of last season. Particular importance was their improvement in coverage late in the year. It's also a Montez Sweat revenge game, right? Their over-under win total is 8.5 because of all the improvements that they made this offseason. They got DeAndre Swift there. They added a bunch of different people to that team. They got Keenan Allen there. Rome Odunze. Remember, we met Odunze's nephews or whoever the hell those kids were at the draft.
Yeah.
They were asking us about him, and you and I didn't know who the hell they were talking about until we looked
I was
it
like,
up.
no comprehend. I don't.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know.
I'm going with the win because we're at home, and once again, our fans are going to be hungry. They're going to want to win, and Chicago fans really don't travel that well. They travel, but they don't travel that well. So I'm going to say the home crowd is going to bring that W on home.
Caleb Williams, homecoming, Gonzaga boy. You know, I'm going with an L that game. I'm thinking Chicago. I think Chicago's a better team right now. Now we'll see what happens during training camp and everything else, and I might change my mind. But week 9, we're going back up to New York.
Loss.
Okay. So I'm thinking we sweep New York. I'm not impressed. They let go of who the hell was their running back? What was his face? Saquon, no longer there. I mean, I'm not positive about what the hell New York's trying to do right now. So I'm thinking we actually finally get that monkey off our back with New York and we sweep them.
Okay.
Week 10, we got Pittsburgh coming to town. And pretty much everyone from Pittsburgh that doesn't live in Pittsburgh coming to town.
Tie.
Okay. You're going for a tie. Hey, it could happen, man. We've seen it way too much. Man.
I think it's gonna be an L, but I was being funny by saying tie, but who knows, man? I mean, like you said, right now to this day, I'm going to go with the L.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm going with an L right now. We got the Eagles on a Thursday night short week, going up to Philly.
L.
So, I think we're going to win this one.
Oh.
I think we know that the guys have played tough up there. And they're doing, it's a different team right now. And every time we go up there, it's a good game. I think we're going to surprise them. I actually think we're going to sleep on the Steelers, overlook them, and kind of save what we need to for that Philly game on that Thursday night. So I think it's going to be a dub.
Okay.
So then we got the Cowboys coming to town on week 12.
I don't know. But I'm gonna say L. As much as that hurts me to say that, I'm gonna say L. Just off of right now.
Yeah. Dallas has improved, but some say maybe they haven't. It's just they're the division champs, so it is what it is. I agree with you. I'm going to go L. We got the Titans week 13. So last year, Tennessee finished 6-11.
And they got rid of Derrick Henry. And who has Derrick Henry now? Is it Pittsburgh?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I'm not too sure. Who's got Derrick Henry?
No, Baltimore has Derrick Henry. So yeah, I do definitely say L for Baltimore. I'm going to say a W for Tennessee.
I agree with you. I'm not. Tennessee doesn't really surprise me at all. I'm not scared of them.
Nah,
So we'll see what happens there. Week 15, we got New Orleans Saints in New Orleans,
that
coming off
dome
our
is
bye.
that dome is hard to win, and well, they don't have Drew Brees there anymore. So, because I've been there for that Brees beatdown that we've got,
Oh, I
and
remember being there.
that still hurts my heart. But what I will say is we're going to have a lot of fans in New Orleans for that game. So, ooh man, because the dome is just so hard to win in, I'm going to say a L.
Yeah, I mean, it's Derek Carr back now. I mean, the Saints were 9-8 last year, so they were right around, almost, doing something. So I hate to agree with you. They didn't make the playoffs, but they did make some improvements this year. I'm going to go L as well. And then we've got week 16. We got the Eagles
I'm going to
coming to
say
FedEx.
I'm going to say we take the dub on that one.
So you're
I'm gonna give
going
us
dub there.
yeah.
I don't think we're sweeping Philly. I'm giving Philly the win on that one. And Kirk Cousins coming back to DC again, but coming back to DC, maybe he's a starter. Who knows? I mean, they did draft that quarterback, and he's all, butthurt about it. But what are you thinking?
Atlanta, I'm gonna roll the dice and give us a dub.
It's tough for me to say dub just because it's Kirk, but I feel that we always beat Atlanta.
Hmm.
Granted, the past couple times we played them, it's been in Atlanta, but I feel like we always beat Atlanta. I just think Kirk gives them another just thing that they haven't had. And
That
yeah, he can get them over that hump. They finally have a quarterback that can actually make the throws they need to. I'm going to say L.
Okay.
And closing out in Dallas, week 18.
I'm gonna say because at this point in time we are fighting for a playoff spot and in a must-win situation, I'm gonna say dub in Jerry's world.
I'm going to say dub because Dallas isn't playing for anything. All right, I'm going to say dub because maybe Dallas is sitting some people and we are fighting for something at that point. So we'll see what happens. So
Mhm.
adding this up, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins on your side. So you got us
Man,
going 10-7. So that Dallas game, according to you, is going to be huge. For me, I
yeah,
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got us a 7-10 right now. I hope you're right, man. I really do. And we'll see what happens during training camp. We'll see what happens during those preseason games. And,
that's gonna be the test. Yeah.
we've always said it during past shows. We're not going to see much during it. But to me, we'll see if Jaden can handle some of this pressure and if he can make the throws. And
Hmm.
we could see last year during training camp that the offensive line was bad and they couldn't score at the goal line. And that Eric Bieniemy, but was an idiot when it came down to play calling. So I think we'll get a better grasp, but I want to redo this once, week 1 comes around, but we'll see. 7-10. I mean, I put a hefty sum of money down on our over-under because it was 6.5. So if
Is
it
it still
works,
6.5?
it's still 6.5 when I checked the
Huh.
other day.
I think I'm gonna have to
So
go ahead and put some down as well.
shoot, you can
Yeah.
tease that up, man, if you're thinking 10 wins.
I think I may have to. I think I may go all in. Just push the chips all the chips in, brother. But
That bet and
I gotta see what they look like with pads on. I mean, ultimately, it's very hard to. It's easy to do now because of the excitement, but then you gotta temper a little bit your expectations a little bit. So, but I think that will be better than 6 wins or 6.5 wins.
yeah, it's also going to depend on we're going to win a game that we're not supposed to win, right?
Hmm.
Someone's not going to be there. Who knows if Lamar is going to play in that Ravens game? They're a completely different team if he's not there. I'm not saying he's going to get hurt. but he did lose 15 pounds, something like that, where everyone's making a big deal out of what Jaden weighs. Well, Lamar dropped a bunch of weight, so they're kind of the same size right now, right? So who knows? Something's going to happen. There's going to be a game everyone's picking us to lose. Like you and I both picked us to lose against the Steelers. Who knows? Maybe we surprise the world and, you know, we take
Shock
down
them again.
Yeah, we take down Pittsburgh again. So we'll see what's up. But once again, thank you guys for reaching out. Brain fog is gone. I'm out of concussion protocol. And thank you, brother, for reaching out to me and, you know, being understanding. And we pushed the show to this week. And I'm looking forward to doing this again next week. Fingers crossed, no concussions this Sunday.
Yeah, man, don't go so hard in the paint. And then I hear the music playing in the background, which I always tell you, lets me know we're bringing another show to an end. I thank you guys for riding with us. It's been a pleasure. And give us some feedback of what you liked about the show. We always want to hear more from you. That's going to do it. Concussion Ted and Rally Captain, we're going to be out. Oh, I almost forgot. You better rep it hard or you don't rep it at all. Now we're out.